Goddamn.
Well, there it is, everybody. How is everybody doing? Welcome back to another edition of NHP Unscripted, man. This is episode 255 of Unscripted, and on this episode, we got the Go Home Show for Evolution for Monday Night Raw, as well as Dynamite 300, or as some would maybe call it, Dynamite Heroes versus Villains.
Heroes versus villains.
This
Ugh.
gets interesting. It definitely does. So yeah, man, how's everybody doing? Thank you guys for joining us here today again for another edition of Unscripted. And if this is your first time watching, guys, you know the show works every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central. We are on here with Unscripted, and every Friday at 3 p.m. Central, we are on here with the news, man. This week we will be doing news, and we will be doing predictions for both Evolution, Saturday night's main event, and All In, even though we will be reviewing both of those shows. When I said, and when I noticed I said both and not all three, because there will be no Saturday night's main event review. If there's anything interesting that could possibly happen on there, we will just talk about it on Unscripted next week. Or actually, if something too huge happens on that show, we probably could just talk about it on what is that? The Evolution, the Open to Evolution. Well, the show will probably be going on as we're doing the All In review. So I'm sure if anything too crazy happens, it will be brought up on one of those reviews. However, yeah, if this is yeah, so again, if this is your first time watching, because you know how the show works, Tuesday, 12 p.m. Central, Unscripted, Friday, 3 p.m. Central for the news. Like I said, this week we'll be doing news and predictions for both those shows, as well as the pay-per-views for both WWE and AEW. We are live directly after the show goes off the air with the official post-show review, which, again, we will be live right after All In on Saturday, and then right after Evolution on Sunday. So, yeah, with that, if you guys did miss this past Friday's edition of the news, that is episode 273. I believe you guys can now watch that on all platforms. That is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and if you want to see it first, join us right here live on YouTube. Fridays at 3 p.m. Central, man. So, again, those are up for you guys as we speak. And if you guys have not got a chance to get your hands on some of the official NHP merchandise, you guys can now find this live on the merch shop. That is bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video, where you find this beautiful piece of NHP merchandise live on there as we speak, man. So, if this is your first time watching and you guys do not know who we are here at NHP, I am Johnny, one half of the host of this very show, and as for the other half, we got my man Sir K here. Sir K, go ahead, tell us what you're smiling about. So you know, already a little bit past noon.
I've been good, man. I've been good. Just been chilling. Excited for the weekend. Big weekend. Bunch of shows. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this weekend. I think it's gonna be real good. And I'm excited for the shows. I think both companies could have done better job building their respective shows, but nonetheless, I'm sure the shows themselves are gonna be pretty good. So I am excited, man. I am excited. Like Durante always ask, how's life? How's the family? Life's good. Family's good. How is everybody doing in the live chat? How's everyone doing watching the replay? What about you, bro? How are you doing?
I am doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good, man. Yeah, just like you said, just got a big weekend ahead of us. So that should be interesting. That should be very interesting to see how that all plays out. But other than that, man, just chilling, dude, just chilling. So, like you said, man, as Durante always asks, I'm good. Family's good. What about you, Durante, Logan Bell, and my guys, a part of the Replay Mafia, JT and JB. Thank you guys for joining us as always. And yeah, man, I'm doing good, man. So how's everybody doing? Like I said, whether you're here now or a part of the replay, thank you guys as always, man. So yeah, just doing good, man. Nothing
Good.
too much going on, bro. Nothing too much going on. So um, well, without any further ado.
Part of the day.
Dynamite 300.
Hell yeah.
This was a wow.
It was an episode, I guess you could say that. It happened.
This was this was most certainly an episode. To say the very least. We got this episode of Dynamite 300 here, man. Oh lord. The episode was minus the few promos that were done in preparation to matches at All In. The like I said, some of the promos on here were actually pretty good. I did enjoy them, and I enjoyed the atmosphere that the crowd brought into it as well. However, however, uh the matches on here 2 weeks before All In were well, for starters, they were heroes versus villains, just in case you were wondering. And two, they were rather fucking random. And we'll get into those in just a second. But the show opens up with Adam Page. It opens up with Adam Page. He comes out there and he says that he is willing to ride into the death to get the AEW championship. He then challenges Jon Moxley to a Texas death match. This got a huge reaction from the AEW crowd. Jon Moxley then comes out to the ring. This was just him and Marina Shafir at this point. He comes out there and he starts rambling. Legitimately, I can't even remember what the guy was saying. I just remember sitting there for like a hot 2 or 3 minutes just saying, dude, get to the fucking point. He starts rambling about how he's the best wrestler in the world. Then he says he's not the best wrestler in the world because that's basic bitch shit. He says he's more than that. And again, literally just going on and on about how he's not the best wrestler in the world. But he started by saying he was, but then again, then he says he's more than that, so he's not the best wrestler in the world. Legitimately, again, I was just sitting there saying, dude, get to the fucking point. What are we talking about here? So he declines Hangman Page's offer. He declines Hangman Page's offer for the Texas Death Match, going back to a report we heard from the Dirt Sheets. The reason he gave Hangman, I thought this was kind of funny. He says, you may think you want this, but this is not what you want. In fact, this is what you wanted for somebody else. LOL. Thought that was kind of funny. Obviously, going back to the report that caused an uproar on social media because Hangman wanted Will Ospreay to go on and challenge for the AEW World Championship instead of him. Obviously, everybody had a fit about that on social media. So at this point, Hangman had heard enough. He slaps Jon Moxley, so a brawl breaks out with Claudio and Yuta coming to his save. I just remembered right now that Pac was a part of this group at once. Once was a part of this group. Man.
He was, man. That man got injured and Good for him, man. He had to basically miss the whole rest of the story.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Well,
don't know.
maybe he'll be back, after All In.
Eh.
But I don't know if it's gonna end at All In.
I would not doubt it. So they attack Adam Page. Adam Page is laying in the ring after Claudio hit him with the neutralizer. Hangman, he then turns around, or sorry, gets up, not turns around. He then gets up, grabs the microphone. He tells Moxley his neutered dog, Claudio, did not do shit because he's still standing. Claudio gets very upset. He walks to the barricade, and Samoa Joe meets him at the barricade. Then, this is where I think AEW producers didn't know what the fuck they were doing, per usual. So Claudio and Yuta, they walk up to the barricade. Will Hobbs and Shibata come through the crowd, walk right past the Death Riders, hop the barricade, and then just stare at them and meet them at the barricade as well, like Samoa Joe. Why didn't they just come from the fucking entranceway like Samoa Joe did? Why did they come from the crowd? Are they a part of the Death Riders? I mean, why are they over that way? I mean, that. All right.
Good old AEW production.
So as they're all meeting the Death Riders at the barricade, Marina Shafir walks around the other end to sneak attack Adam Page with the briefcase. Adam Page snatches the briefcase out of her hands. He then asks Moxley, "Do I have something of yours?" He tells him, "Give me the match and be the champion you say you are." I thought they were going to drag this out maybe like a week or maybe even just a show of Dynamite. I thought they were going to drag this out to where, Jon Moxley is, persistent on, you're not getting the match, right? You don't want this. Even though you think you do, you don't want this. This is all it took. This was all it took. So, yeah, this was quite literally all it took for Jon Moxley to get upset and then say, I accept. You got your match. So Hangman gives the briefcase back to Marina Shafir. Hangman says because the crowd is going crazy at this point after they heard the announcement of the Texas Death Match. So the crowd's going crazy. Hangman gets out of the ring. He then grabs the mic again and says, since we're riding the excitement of Texas Death, let me show you how far I'll go to get it. He then hits a buckshot lariat on Marina Shafir, and Jon Moxley is very distraught in the crowd with his neutered dog Claudio and his son, Wheeler Yuta.
Shaggy son. Good lord, man. It was fine. Obviously Hangman looked good, and I like that aspect of it, man. But just this Death Rider stuff, man. It's here,
Carrying
and it's still
TV.
here. And it's like, fuck, dude. It's so lame. Like, I don't care about the Death Riders. They're not intimidating. They're not cool. They're not tough. Um, and I just can't wait for this to end, man. And again, I really don't think All In is going to be the end of this, man. So
Yeah.
I keep seeing AEW fans talk about how they don't want All In to be like a Mania 39, where like the good guy loses and whatnot. I think they're going to get exactly that, if I'm being honest at this point.
Uh, Mania 39 was one of my favorite ones. Because I actually, at the time, I hated it. I thought it was a really bad decision. But looking back, I really love it.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the decision to obviously have Roman go over. I love the decision of the bad guy, fucking beating Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes sitting there looking up at the lights with a fucking rubber chicken next to his fucking head. I thought it was great. I thought it was great. The difference here is that was Roman Reigns, okay? That was Roman Reigns in the bloodline. this this is John
That's right.
Moxley in the Death Riders.
Fucking
So uh I don't know, man. The last time these guys faced in Texas Death, Hangman went over, and I just 100% honest would not be shocked if John Moxley won this. I would not be shocked if John Moxley I wouldn't be shocked. You know, we keep saying it, man, and I genuinely would not be shocked if John Moxley won Texas Death and retained the championship to go face Darby Allin for it. I just I'm just at a point, man, where I just would not at all be shocked if that were to happen. Yeah, like I said, the last time they faced in Texas Death, Hangman won. And obviously you also have the component of Darby Allin, and you know how dead set really is Tony Khan for having Darby Allin be the one, because if he's dead set, you better believe it's happening, because when Tony Khan's got his mind to something, there is no teetering him away from that.
No, exactly, man. So, and like all the stuff about like Sting mentioning, he was filming stuff up there and
Mhm.
whatnot. I don't think Hangman's gonna win, dude. I
Yeah.
really don't.
I
I
mean I
think
mean
people are
it's
gonna work for it.
it's hard to hear that Darby Allin is, filming stuff at the top of Mount Everest, and what was I saying? Oh, it's hard to hear that he's filming stuff at the top of Mount Everest for, for a program against Adam Page. You know what I mean? Like, look, I know you guys may not like it. A part of me doesn't even fucking like it, because I don't want to see John Moxley carry the championship all the way, for a full calendar year. But obviously, it does make more sense to have Darby Allin in a program with John Moxley. I mean, again, I know we all hate it, but there is a story there. There's no denying that. There's obviously history with the Death Riders and Darby Allin. He fell off the map or whatever Excalibur said at the end of the year. Um, so there is that, but
Uh,
yeah, like I said, I mean, I highly doubt Darby is, filming stuff to go into a program against Adam fucking Page. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious it's John Moxley, but yeah, I honestly could see, All In Texas being, a WrestleMania 39, which in WrestleMania 39's case it worked out. In hindsight, that probably is my favorite Mania ever, but that was Roman Reigns in the bloodline we were talking about. Here is John Moxley in the fucking Death Riders. So I don't really know how well that's gonna go, but regardless, I like the announcement. I like the announcement of Texas Death. It's certainly more fucking interesting than whatever the fuck we were in store for if this was a regular match, because, well, we all know how that went at Dynasty, and we certainly know how that went at Revolution, which was an all-time show with an all-time historically bad main event. So, um, yeah, I like the announcement. Obviously, the audience liked it. They were going pretty crazy about the announcement. And yeah, I mean, I mess with it. I think it was a good call. I think it was a good call to give us a Texas Death match in the main event here. I think it suits both guys well. It's kind of weird that they already had a Texas Death match. Maybe that's why you shouldn't do a Texas Death match in fucking San Francisco. But I digress. But they're doing a Texas Death Match now in Texas.
and they finally did it at a location that fits. And I think it's really gonna help John Moxley's case in that match, man. That just made that main event a whole lot more watchable.
Yes. Yeah. Because in the year of 2025, John Moxley has a very hard time wrestling a normal match. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so with that, so that was the open to the show. Like Sir K said, it's the best way to put it. They definitely made the main event a lot more watchable. But Next, we have Mercedes Monet versus Mina Shirakawa for the TBS title, I think. Tony
It's one of the
is
7 of them.
ringside. What's up?
It's one of the 7 of them.
Uh, yeah. Tony is ringside eating a steak.
God, what is their obsession with steak? It was like, what? Why? Why
I
do they keep eating steak?
I I I have no idea. I have no idea. Maybe Tony Khan finally moved on from his kids meal he's been eating of chopped hot dogs and mac and cheese, and moved on to and maybe he found out what Texas Roadhouse was, perhaps Longhorn, Outback, fucking Gibson Steakhouse. I don't know. Fucking Michael Jordan Steakhouse. I don't know. Actually, I think that closed, but I don't know. I don't know where. Maybe he found out what steak was, like I said, moved on from his little baby meal, and now he decided to incorporate this into television. Steak.
Every week, steak.
Yeah, but this week Tony Storm's eating steak. She's eating steak scared. Yes, scared. She was sitting ringside the whole time, watching this match like she's seen a ghost. I don't know what was up with that. She didn't even touch her steak. She's like sitting there with like bug eyes. You know, her eyes were so fucking big. She's like terrified the whole time. I don't know what that was about. But
You
that's
watch Dynamite.
that's what. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Maybe she was thinking about John Moxley's title reign going on another 3 fucking months. Is maybe what she was so scary about. But Mercedes ends up defeating Mina with a roll up to retain the title. Wow, who would have thought?
No way. Who would ever think that, man?
Yeah. Mercedes then attacks Mina after the match. Tony comes in for the save. Mercedes gets out of the ring, walks to the other side of the ring. That's Tony's blind spot. And then she attacks them both. Does that sound familiar? Because I think they've done this segment about 2 or 3 fucking times already. The same thing, where Mercedes gets out of the ring, walks to one of their blind spots, and then gets in and ends up attacking both of them.
Dog, like, what are you doing, bro? It's the same thing every week. Someone's eating steak during someone else's match. Match ends. Mercedes attacks. Eh, it's all you got. Is that literally all you have for the greatest women's match ever, or whatever they're building this shit as? Good lord.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Yeah, that is quite literally all they have. And Mercedes, after the attack, I guess wanted to let everybody know that she misses home and she wants to be home so she can witness the farewell tour, because she looks dead in the camera and says, "Tony, your time is up. My time is now." LOL.
Thanks for that, Mercedes.
That was that was the best thing she's done in this whole entire run. Is give a
Good
little
lord.
shout out to the GOAT. Your time is up. My time is now. Very, very good stuff there, Mercedes. Thank you for letting us know. So next we have, so yeah, like I was saying, man, we got that segment, with Mercedes and Tony again, like I said, for like the third fucking time. It's like Sir K said, man. This is all we got. This was your idea. This was your idea of a build. Blind attacks and stakes and sniffs. This is man. This is really creative. Wow.
So creative. Makes me care so much about this match, man. You know what? Their rivalry goes so deep, man. They they, they eat steak and they
Mhm.
sniffed each other before, and that's all I could bring up about those two and their interactions.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. They better hope this match is absolutely insane enough to make everybody forget about the build.
They better hope, dude. They better hope, dude.
The Young Bucks, they have a vignette or like a video package of a a I guess tour of Rancho Cucamonga, their school and their childhood home. It was actually, I guess, a decent touch of the show. I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool just to have like I guess just a little hint of where they were, being that they were in that area. So I thought it was cool. It felt rather more of a babyface thing to do rather than this heel Young Bucks, kind of scenario they got going on. But I thought it was pretty cool nonetheless.
Little cool thing. I guess got to know the Young Bucks a little more for the show, and that's cool, man.
Yeah. So we got a qualifier for the men's casino battle royal. Let me know who you think's gonna win this match.
Okay.
Brody King, AR Fox, MJF, and Anthony Bowens. Why, God, Sir K, would you have any idea who would win this match, man?
I don't know, man. I mean, Anthony Bowens is never on television, so he
Mm-hmm.
might be out.
Yeah,
Brody
yeah.
King,
Hmm.
Brody King has a record of nothing but losing, so
Oh,
he might be out.
yeah.
And then
Who's the
AR
other guy?
Fox,
Oh,
man.
right,
Oh
right, right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he loses. He lost to Ricochet,
Mm-hmm.
so I wonder who else he's gonna lose to.
Oh,
Um, so probably MJF, man. But you never know, man. You never know.
man. We have a Gonzo bomb to Anthony Bowens. AR Fox goes for a dive to break it up. And damn near, at least from the angle they shot it at, looked like he dead ass hit like a shoot diving headbutt on Anthony Bowens. It looked pretty bad. So he breaks that up. MJF then swoops in with an armbar to AR Fox, and AR Fox taps. Uh, wow. MJF won the match against three jobbers. And that sucks to say because all three of those guys should not be jobbers. But they are. And MJF, he beat them. What a shocker.
What a shocker, man. No way. MJF moves on into the battle royal, and yeah, it's he beat people that always lose, man. No way.
Mark Briscoe comes out because he's in a long-standing rivalry with MJF. He tells MJF that when he called him a blue-collar bitch, it ensured him an ass whipping. He challenges him to a talkie talk next week.
That's what the segment's called too. There's a whole graphic for it and everything. MJF and Mark Briscoe in a talkie talk. What, what do you say, dude? What do you say besides like what the fuck is going on here? What who is this for?
Uh, Apparently not us.
Nope, it's not at
Because
all.
first of all, why somebody is being challenged to a promo battle the next week? That
Just talk
to
now.
me is just something that would just happen. You know what I mean? Maybe they put out a graphic of, Mark Briscoe, speaks or whatever, and then MJF comes out to interrupt him. You don't announce a fucking promo battle. I mean, sometimes, or even like announce, Mark Briscoe and MJF face to face, but you don't fucking do it the week prior. Like, hey, we're gonna talk next week. I got something I need to say to you next week. Oh, all right. It, so there's gonna be
Like
a talkie talk next week. Yeah, great.
AEW, man. Let's do a fucking quote talkie talk segment next week. We could have just talked here, but no, we'll do it next week.
Man, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. But Jet Speed, they come out and attack the Hurt Syndicate. When I tell you the Hurt Syndicate whoop the fuck out of these guys, bro, they mopped the fucking floor with these guys. Like, mop the floor with them, bro. And Jet Speed, they keep getting up. And the Hurt Syndicate would go back, maul them. They would get up, maul them. Legitimately, what this is, because there's so little challenge for the Hurt Syndicate. There's so little challenge for them. What this feud is these are jobbers that have resiliency.
It's all they are at
The,
this point.
quite literally, this is quite literally that is the crux of this feud.
I mean, what the hell, man? Let's take an act. People really loving the Hurt Syndicate, and you give them real opponents, and we did. And then they lost instantly, and now we're giving them Jet Speed, who's just getting whooped. And they're getting back up, man, though. They're getting back up.
Yeah. So instead of building these guys as, opposites to the Hurt Syndicate that could combat their style with speed, I don't know, it's not like it's in their fucking name or anything. They can combat their style with actual speed, but no, instead we will quite literally just build these guys as fucking jobbers. They will quite literally just build these guys as jobbers, just jobbers that keep getting up. Instead of what the Hurt Syndicate is normally used to, jobbers that just stay down. So, yeah. LOL. So, there's that.
Well,
So Kevin Knight grabs the mic and he says they may know how to hurt people, but to keep the titles, they will have to learn how to kill people. He says, "Hey Shelton, your mom never taught you how to hit because you hit like a bitch." And he challenges him to a match on Collision.
and there it goes. Fucking Collision.
Which for some reason AEW then put out a graphic for Shelton versus Kevin Knight versus Nick Wayne. I don't know.
Yeah, they randomly added the another tag team to this match. They didn't explain that at all.
I, 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 I have no idea where that came from. The last time I checked, fucking Christian was, what was he doing? He was having Nick Wayne. He was like putting him in matches. Next time I look up, they're
Yeah,
in a tag scenario. Okay. Uh, all right.
it it sounds like Tony Khan didn't know where to take a little breakup story angle with Nick Wayne and Christian, and I think this is just gonna fast track it. Just put them in the tag match. They're probably gonna lose obviously in that tag match, and I wouldn't doubt if the turn happened there.
What the fuck
I don't know.
was that? Hmm. Sir, hey, the show sucks now.
I mean, Dynamite does suck.
I guess so. Okay. Well, my fucking bad. I fucking don't look at the live chat for like 20 minutes. LOL. Um. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say, bro. I mean, I'm not gonna cut AEW. I mean, there's things about AEW that I like. I don't know what you want me to do, Brody, but whatever.
Say to half of those, but alrighty.
So what do we got next here? Oh, okay, here we go. This is where the show gets good. This is where the show gets good, man. The Young Bucks and Takeshita defeat
Hashtag
Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Bandito
heroes versus villains.
in a hero in a hero versus villains trios match.
You know, they could easily put that little fucking stupid heroes and villains graphics maybe on like John Moxley and then Hangman, Hurt Syndicate, and even Jet Speed. Even that would be like, okay, you put it to a match like this, this nothing match.
And what exactly would make Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Bandito heroes? I may
They're the
ask.
heroes, man. They're technically the baby faces in that scenario, so by default, I guess, logically, they are the heroes. Don't know what makes them heroic, but who knows?
We have super kicks, a pair of super kicks from the Bucks to Kyle O'Reilly, then a forearm from Takeshita, then a BTE trigger to Kyle O'Reilly. So this man literally got the super finisher, and then into a raging fire. And
And
Kyle O'Reilly legitimately got like the double, bro got like the triple fucking finisher. Which the funniest thing, this is Kyle O'Reilly, bro. You probably didn't even need all that, but I don't know. I guess they just wanted to put the final nail in the Kyle O'Reilly coffin. Bury his career once and for all, as if it hasn't already fucking been there. And then, and they won. So the villains won. The villains of the Young Bucks and Takeshita. And
what villain?
yeah, and the villains won, man.
The villains won. They did truly win, man. Yeah, fucking. Man, what do you say for that match? Besides, heroes and villains, man. Truly, the heroes and villains of Dynamite every week.
There it is. Swerve and Will Ospreay come out afterwards to attack the Bucks. This was probably the other only interesting part of the show. As Swerve, they chase off the Bucks. They grab the mic. Swerve says they still haven't got their answers. And to clarify this, this is this is not them wanting to become EVPs themselves, because Swerve says he can't trust Will with that kind of power. And he says the power should go back to the fans. And there is only one person that runs this company, and that's the chairman and CEO, Tony Khan. I wonder who planted that line, and I wonder who told Swerve to say that. I wonder.
I wonder, man, who else told him to get his fucking 3 nicknames in there, man? But or 3 job titles, whatever the fuck it is, dude. Swerve. They know that we know that Tony Khan is in charge of all this. So any bad thing is still on Tony Khan, man. So that when they always say that type of shit, that kills me, because like I know who's really writing the show. I'm not stupid.
It's like Tony sits there and he's like, "Hey, do you think you could throw in that you need the Bucks out of power because there's only one person that runs the company, and say it's me." And they're like, "Oh, all right, boss." So,
boss, like, I fucking know that.
So, I will say from the first part of this promo, I like that they clarified, even though I didn't feel there was much clarifying to do. I did see some people, I guess saying, oh, wait, does this mean they're EVPs? Like, yeah, they're going to run a storyline where Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay are EVPs of the company. I took it from the jump as, this was just meaning to strip the Bucks from power. Guess some people needed that clarification, which is good. It's good that they, just clarify. Yeah, for sure. So Ospreay says, "Are you guys the young Bucks or the young Cucks?" Wow.
Very original.
Yeah, right. Matt Jackson then says, "No. Because he says, what do we get out of this if we win? We don't get anything." Valid point. But then Will Ospreay says he's got something for him. He says if him and Swerve lose at All In, they took a minute to kind of discuss this. He says, if me and Swerve lose at All In, then neither of us can challenge for the world title for 1 calendar year.
It's interesting.
This match just got a whole lot more interesting, because that could actually go both ways. If Tony Khan wants to maybe focus on other people in the main event scene for 2025, early 2026, it could very well be a possibility and give an actual purpose as to why Swerve and Will aren't going after the world championships, because a lot of the time Swerve does talk about going for the world title again, and Will obviously talks about going for the world title, as they should, but it would give them a reason to kind of peek out of that scene just for a little bit and actually have it make sense, to the point where people aren't asking like, hey, why isn't this guy going for the world championship? Why is he feuding with the Anthony Bowens on Collision? It will actually give, well, please don't do anything like that, but it will actually give purpose for what they're doing that's, not involved with the main event scene. So that is very interesting, man. That is very interesting to me. And then obviously they can go the way of the Bucks losing their EVP status, which to me I would probably go with, but again, this is also coming from somebody who just thoroughly has not enjoyed. I mean, it's the typical AEW thing. It was really cool in the beginning, and then they just completely fucking dump it right on its face. So, I would probably go with that because the thing is, obviously, you do the Owen at Double or Nothing, and we will get to Double or Nothing next year, and Osprey still won't be able to challenge for the world championship. So hypothetically speaking, if you did say, because the first thing I thought out of this was, okay, Osprey is going to get taken out of the world title scene for a year because next year when they return to London, he will win the AEW World Championship. But this is also me speaking from a point of, maybe, normally they do the Owen at Double or Nothing. So like,
We wouldn't be able to.
he still wouldn't be able to be involved at that point because he will still be on his, I guess, non-compete clause for the AEW World Championship unless they move the Owen until after July 12th of next year, which they could if they are moving Double or Nothing back to August. Which could be a possibility, which is probably the most likely possibility if they do end up losing this match. And that was the first thing I thought of, like I said, is, okay, if they do end up going that route, it's because they want to hold off on Will Ospreay challenging the AEW, challenging for the championship until they go back to All In next year so he can win the title in London.
It's interesting, man. It's interesting. I think it's a stipulation that, for the heels, for them to win, for the Young Bucks to win, and for those two to not be able to challenge for a world title. I would think that stipulation would only work if Hangman does go on to win the match, because, that would be a sacrifice to, get, that win, I guess. Um, Even though I think it's just in there to have a good, you know, stipulation side for the heels. I still think Young Bucks are going to lose, and they're going to lose their EVP status. I think they do want to get rid of all that on TV. But it's very interesting, man, and they have their ways they can take it, which is cool.
For sure, for sure. I could see. I mean, I could see the Bucks losing. I feel like maybe they do want to go back to being a babyface group or a babyface tag team, as maybe just the Young Bucks. But I'm interested to see what they do next. I'm interested to see if they do something completely different as babyfaces, or if they go back to, like, you know, just kind of what they were, kind of like the 2021 type of look, I guess, to them, or if they're going to go back to the whole tassel look. I doubt they go back to that, but, or like I said, maybe they'll
Very-
just do something completely different, but
I wouldn't be shocked with that.
yeah. So speaking of Swerve and Will Ospreay, but regardless, I think that made this match a lot more interesting, and I like how it added stipulations to both sides, rather than just for the Bucks EVP status. So I like it actually a lot.
I do.
Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland versus Beast Mordos and Drew Listico in a heroes versus villains tag team match.
I think Beast Mordos has his own hero at this point. Or you know who's his hero? I think it's Mercedes. I think she's his hero. Getting him fucking booked.
I guess so. She's getting them TikTok time. She's getting them booked. She's getting them a lot. So Swerve and Will Ospreay win with a Styles clash into a house call, and that was that. So this one, the Heroes won. Wow. Heroes ending.
Look at that. This is
Wow.
truly the hero's ending.
Yeah, this was tremendous. This was absolutely tremendous. So we got the main event of Dynamite 300, Okada versus Kota Ibushi. Okada won this match. Okada won this match with a Rainmaker. It was a pretty good match in the main event here. We then get, after the match, Rocky Romero and Lance Riff Raff Archer. Why the fuck did he come out here looking like Riff Raff, bro? I mean, this dude had shades and he had his braids like in like all types of like squiggly patterns and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? It was like, what the fuck is Riff Raff doing on Dynamite?
He's trying to blow up and act like he don't know nobody. I see his game.
Maybe he is, bro. Maybe he is hotter than the moon plus the sun.
Exactly.
That was an all-time look for Lance Archer. I legitimately was like, dude, he looks just fucking like Riff Raff, bro. So Rocky Romero and Lance Archer are attacking Kota Ibushi. Now, these are two guys you do not want to be attacked by, as they're very feared. And we then see the return of Kenny Omega. He returns and chases away the Don Callis family. Trent comes up from behind him and goes to attack Omega, but Kota stops him as Kota and Kenny then hit a power bomb into a German suplex combo on Trent Beretta. Or Trent.
Trent now.
Wow, what a way to end Dynamite 300. The baby faces finally take down the monster known as Trent.
Wow. They take down Trent, dude. They took down Trent, Riff Raff, the Adam Cole family, the whole bunch of them, man. Took down the whole group. Truly, the heroes did win in this heroes versus villains episode, man. Dynamite 300, and with fucking those two beating up Trent. What a way to celebrate 300 episodes.
There you have it. 300 episodes of Dynamite. The last vision you see is Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega attacking Trent Beretta. Well, guys, in case we lost you, Dynamite is over now. And there is no more heroes versus villains. But what we do have, in case you are lost, you might need some energy, bro. We got just the thing for you. Dubby Energy, man. We got a word from our sponsor here at Dubby. Dubby is an energy drink loaded with vitamins and nootropics formulated to improve focus so you don't get lost with some heroes versus villains without getting the jitters. Dubby is a clean formula that is sugar-free, 0-calorie, free from fillers and artificial colorings, with 150 milligrams of caffeine per servings if you need to stay awake, because we all know Unscripted fucking sucks. You can get your Dubby products today with the link below and code NHP at checkout to save yourselves 10% on your next purchase.
Really, always got to shout out Dubby, man. Whether workout, whatever you may need the energy for. Maybe you're lost. Maybe we lost you. Exactly, baby. You know, it's the unscripted part of, or the Dynamite part of Unscripted, and you need to stay up. You don't want to get lost. Try Dubby, man. It'll keep you awake. It'll keep you energized. You won't have the jitters, and it'll taste good all at the same time. Always get a shout out Dubby.
there you have it. As always, thank you. Huge shout out to the good people over at W Energy, the official sponsor of the Notorious Heels, man. So, with all of that being said, we got SmackDown. Look, man,
Dynamite. I don't remember what happened on SmackDown either.
not much. Not much at all. I'll say this
Oh
though.
wait, no, I do remember now.
I'll say this.
Okay.
Me and Sir K will cut Dynamite from the show whenever
Okay.
we decide we want to stop laughing at Dynamite on a weekly basis.
Exactly. I like to laugh. I think
I
Dynamite's
like, yeah,
funny.
me too.
Yeah.
Heroes and
Well, I
villains,
mean,
man.
heroes and villains. Why would you ever bill a show as heroes and villains, and then you fucking put the most random nobodies in the tagline? But you know, maybe we'll just cut it. You know, just cut it, man.
Yeah, there you go. So, forget the people that don't watch Dynamite. Maybe they just want to hear us talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Exactly.
Not anymore for them, I guess. Nada.
Oh no, nada.
SmackDown. This was your July 4th episode of SmackDown. This one was taped. And good lord, what
You
was
could
this
tell.
show? You could fucking tell. First of all, they bring back Drew McIntyre on a taped
Okay.
show.
Just
What the
wait.
fuck?
Just wait for this week, bro, or wait till fucking Saturday night's main event or something, dude. Just wait.
All right. The show opens up with Randy Orton telling Cody Rhodes he respects him for not hesitating at Night of Champions because Orton says he hesitated. He tells Cody to kick Cena's ass at SummerSlam and promise me you will not squander the opportunity. Let's stop right there. I hope that I really hope Cody does squander the opportunity, and this is kind of a riff in,
I hope.
you know, their whole relationship, man. Again, I know everybody hates John Cena's title reign. We talk about it every week. They want him to just up and retire right now because he's so fucking trash, like Unscripted. But I don't feel that way. I feel there's no way they should just fucking bounce the championship right back onto Cody Rhodes. That is the laziest move you can possibly ever imagine, in my opinion. So, I think that's an awful move. I really do. I think that's a horrible move. So again, I really hope Orton, you know, telling Cody, you know, promise me you won't squander this opportunity, which obviously Cody did. And I really hope he ends up failing Randy Orton's request, just so we can obviously cause a rift in that relationship and the Never Seen 17 can continue. So, yeah, I hope that I hope that that's how that goes down. I see a lot of people theorizing. With Cody getting a movie role. You know, maybe he may have secretly sold his soul to the final boss. You know what I mean? And now his dreams are all coming true because he's getting a movie role, and you know, this is what The Rock promised him. Please, people, please? Just if Cody's gonna go
Something like
heel,
that.
I better not see that fucking Versace vest anywhere near it. If it means the same things that it meant for John Cena, please.
Exactly, man. Exactly. I don't know why people are like just drop the Rock stuff.
Yeah, well,
You know, sometimes you just kind of drop something when people don't like it. Um,
this is true.
but I do like how they added that little Orton thing in there. I like that, and I really hope that does point to Cody losing, because I mean, what does that moment have value if Cody wins? You know what I mean? You could twist it, but I think it has better value if Cody loses, and I think he should, and I think he might at this point.
Really, really hope so. I really, really do, man. God, I hate that idea of just getting the title right back on Cody. So, yeah, like I said, I hope he fails Orton's request and ends up, you know, letting his big brother down. So, because obviously you can see there's something brewing there. Obviously, we all remember the look that Orton gave the championship at Clash at the Castle in Scotland, and then obviously at Night of Champions, he gave him that real dirty look after he beat him. Then he comes out here and he acts like everything's okay. So if we know Randy Orton at all, then we know that, 9 times out of 10, there's probably something brewing there. However, Drew McIntyre then comes out and starts instigating both men. He tells Randy Orton the legend of Randy Orton is dead. He looks at Cody, talks to him for a little bit, and turns around to do an RKO, which set up McIntyre versus Orton at Saturday night's main event. That is what you're competing with All In with? A random ass Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre match, which I'm sure we all remember their matches from 2020. They were nothing really spectacular.
No, nothing spectacular at all. At least from at that time. Maybe it could be a little better now, but who knows? I'm sure it's gonna be fucking 7 minutes anyway. So what a counter program, man. They're just WWE knows what to counter program all in with, man. They really do. They're picking all the right stuff.
Yeah, they got their P's and Q's lined up, man. They definitely got their ducks in a row for this all in counter program. Um I love how there was, rumors of, Cody and Cena, the rematch is gonna happen the day of All In. I guess somewhere along the lines, people realize they're probably gonna choose AEW over us, even though it needs to be cut. They're probably gonna fucking choose it over us, so we might as well not counter program too hard. Which I could see why you put a show the next night. I never have a problem with them putting shows on the weekend of an AEW show, man. But I mean, the counter programming you did here, I mean, it's just a little much, man. You have 3 fucking shows on the same weekend.
Exactly. It's like you're doing way too much. It's so obvious what you're trying to do, but it's also obvious with the card they're setting up for that show, Saturday night's main event, that they know, that people are still gonna watch All In, so not to put nothing crazy on that show, and it's like either try or you don't. Either try to counter program and put some crazy shit that you might get some people to choose one over the other,
Yeah.
or you don't do it at all. It's so like it's so half baked. It's sad.
Yeah.
The Saturday Night Main Event. This one is really sad because it's obvious they want to counter program, but they don't trust the audience to watch that show enough to really like put crazy shit on there. So why are you even doing it in the first place, dude? It's a very sad Saturday night's main event.
For sure. For sure. So, yeah, I remember when this whole thing was all the rumors of the Saturday night's main event, or when it got confirmed that it was going to be the same day of All In. I remember everybody was like, "Man, Roman's going to work the show. We're going to get Cena and Cody the rematch." And then this is what we end up getting. Now Roman very well could work the show. We'll get to that when we talk about Monday Night Raw. Not work the show, but appear at the show, maybe. But I mean, that we'll just have to wait and see on. That all, I thought he was gonna come back at Night of Champions. Personally, I just thought that is where it maybe fit.
Perfect.
the best with the whole Seth Cash-in thing, but it was, sort of teased, I guess, heavily on Raw, but yeah, and then they ended up giving us what they're giving us, which is not the counter program I envision. Usually WWE goes pretty hardcore when they counter program AEW, but this time I guess they really didn't care too much. But yeah, that is that. And the Wyatt Six defeat. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
The Wyatt Six defeated Montez Ford,
Okay.
Johnny Gargano, Berto, and Chris Sabin. Holy AEW.
Yeah, what kind of all-star match is that? Why is it one faction versus half of each tag team on the fucking roster?
What is that match?
That is a horrible idea. What the fuck?
So, the Wyatts defeat them. Uh, what can you say?
Okay.
Because Johnny Gargano was supposed to take a tag from Chris Sabin as he was trying to crawl away from Eric Rowan, and Johnny um Johnny left the apron. He left the apron. He left Chris Sabin hanging, and they won the match. So yeah, the Wyatts are back, and again, we're not still not fixing mistakes from the first time around. I will say you fix one, and that was they were never on TV. Now they're on TV every week, but still not doing anything meaningful.
It literally, man. It's literally the most random all-star fucking AEW slop you could put on, and this is SmackDown.
Yep. Well, we got a backstage segment with Jade Cargill getting attacked by Naomi.
Okay.
Naomi would attack Jade Cargill. Naomi would attack Jade Cargill with this. This you see on your very screen is Naomi's customized Money in the Bank briefcase. So last week we obviously seen Seth's for the first time. And that very Friday, we are seeing Naomi's Proceed with Caution briefcase. This thing is beautiful and it fits Naomi perfectly, man. This was obviously something that I thought they were going to do for this briefcase, sort of like a caution tape type of thing. And I think this is beautiful, man. This is a very, very nice briefcase. Like I said, it fits Naomi perfectly, and like I said, it perfectly ties into her gimmick and everything she's been doing. She tells Jade in this very segment, I told you should have proceeded with caution, as she holds up the caution briefcase, to Jade Cargill. And like I said, man, I think this fits the gimmick. This fits the whole vibe of Naomi perfectly. And I am so glad for the past couple of years they have brought back customized briefcases, man. This thing's beautiful.
Really so glad they brought customized briefcases back. It adds so much personality to whoever holds the Money in the Bank briefcase. And Seth's is really cool, and Naomi's is great, dude. Love the little caution tape thing she's got going on. Love how she's got like actual caution tape like taped or like attached to the handle, like hanging off the briefcase. Looks sick, has personality, man. I love it. I'm so glad they brought that back.
For sure. For sure, man. So, yeah, that is Naomi's briefcase. And like I said, man, I like it a lot. I think it's beautiful. Very nice, very nice. So yeah, that is that. We then get Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill in the ring for a promo, and Tiffany calls out Trish Stratus. She tells Trish that she loved teaming with her at Elimination Chamber, and when they told her she could choose her opponent for Evolution, she thought, what would Evolution be without some Stratus faction? So she would like to offer Trish the opportunity to face her for the WWE Women's Championship at Evolution. That is the reason they came up with. Because Tiffany thought, what would Evolution be without Stratus faction?
So let me give her a title match for against me at the show. That like what? Um Makes no fucking sense, dude. And the genuinely to me
Oh,
the only reason why they did the choosing thing again is they did it for EO and realized, well, it's gonna look really dumb if we only do it with her. So that's why they did it with Trish too, because it was dumb when they did it with EO, but they did it. And it would have looked worse if she was, the only one to do that. So they had, Tiffany do the same thing and choose her opponent. Good lord, what an ass way to fucking book Evolution.
how uncreative. That is Tony Khan levels of uncreativity. Both world
Literally.
champ. That would be like WrestleMania coming up. And you're like, all right, Cena and who's the other? Gunther. All right, WrestleMania is coming up. It's a huge show. You guys can choose who you face. What?
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 Like, no, it doesn't work like that. That is the laziest shit ever.
Both champions get to choose who they face. That is fucking abysmal. That is so uncreative. I cannot. You basically just told me right there you do not care about Evolution one fucking bit. Pretty much. You
I
don't
don't.
care about it so much you can't even come up with decent creative on how to get on how to get these women a title challengers. And actually,
Literally.
Rhea Rhea has pretty much won everything coming out of WrestleMania. So like, and she even told EO at the night after WrestleMania, I think it was, you didn't pin me at Mania, so I'm gonna work my way back to you. And Rhea had just got done beating Raquel. So I mean, she was picking up victories, probably not as much as she should have, but she was picking up victories to the point where like either way, you probably could have just slotted her in with EO. And again, there's history there on kind of why these two would want to face each other going into Evolution. That mixed on top of the fact mixed on top of the fact, like I said, you already have just a story there with these two to that would justify Rhea getting a title match without EO choosing her. And then you do
Like,
this.
you could easily, literally, easy as a layup ever to set up EO and Rhea, and they choose the lamest thing ever. And the fact that they chose that, they just did it again with Tiffany and Trish when those two also have history together. It would have been a pretty easy way to fucking find a way for those two to face each other. Don't know why that's the match in the first place, but it is, and it was a pretty simpler setup than just choosing her. Um, Very lame, very fucking lazy. And why did they even do evolution if they were gonna just be this lazy about it, dude? I really don't understand. It's not like they were like forced by the fans to do evolution this year. It was very random, that they decided just to do evolution this year, and you just are still half-assed about it for no reason. I don't get it.
Man, I I don't know. I don't know, man. They I mean, we'll get to it more when we talk about Raw, but God, I mean, that is that yeah, this whole uh I definitely did not think Evolution would turn out like this. At least the build for it up until this point. But so Trish accepts the challenge. She says she thanks Tiffany for allowing her to have her kids be able to see her wrestle in wherever they were for Toronto for Elimination Chamber. She says, but my kids have never seen me be champion. Tiffany tells her this isn't the Attitude Era anymore. Trish tells her this is the fight that I want. This may be the fight that you
Yeah,
want. This is not the build that I want. So, thank you,
this
Trish.
isn't the match that I want, let alone the fucking build.
Fuck. So this is our match. This is our match for Evolution. Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. Wow. Um,
Good lord, what a
yeah.
fucking lame ass fucking match, dude.
I would have probably taken Tiffany Stratton and Alexa Bliss. Maybe that would have maybe been a pretty cool addition to the show. Something like that. Something. Trish Stratus is what they got. Wow. So Solo does a little vignette saying the family is complete. He officially refers to Hikuleo as Talatanga. So there you go. That is that's that. So that's official. Um and he referred to the group as his MFT, which means my family tree. So they are looks like not called the bloodline anymore, which I think is fine. I think it's a way to distance. You don't want to have Solo just hang on to this bloodline name and you know ruin the name and ruin the history of the group like other factions that you have on the other show that still have the same name and ruin the fucking legacy of the group. So I think it's cool, that they decided to change the name, switch it up a little bit, call it My Family Tree, being that technically it's not all blood anymore, being that you have JC Mateo in the group, who's not even Samoan. So it makes sense that, obviously they're not the bloodline anymore because they're not all blood anymore. A lot of people took into account the fact that he said the family is complete. A lot of people were saying, well, Tamatonga's not there. Solo, they're obviously going to want to say, I do expect Tamatonga to be in this group. What I don't
I do.
expect is for Solo to come out and say, well, the family's not complete, but when Tamatonga comes back from injury, he's going to be with us too. Like, obviously, they're going to want it to be a fucking surprise, and they're not going to want to say anything about it, because he's still hurt.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that he's hurt, technically, like I read that as that he is a part of the group, and because the group is complete, because Tamatonga is still a member of the group as far as Solo is concerned. He's just waiting for him to come back. So
Yeah.
the group is complete because Tamatonga is still in the group. Don't know why people are confused about that, but it is what it is. But I like the name, man. We finally got the reveal for what MFT means. It does not stand for motherfucking Tonga. Um, it doesn't, unfortunately. It stands for My Family Tree, which I like. I like how it's a different name now. It's Solo's own thing, and it's Solo's family tree. This is who he finds his family now, and I like that.
Solo's group of himself, Tala Tonga, Tongaloa, and Nerd Mateo got a name before Seth Rollins' group. And these guys have been together at this point. They were together by the time this vignette came out. They were together 6 days. And the other group is still being referred to as the Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed group, or Seth Rollins and Company.
Seth Rollins and Co. Um, anything but a name. But and I might have a theory for that, but that won't get to Raw. I'll say that when we get to Raw. But overall, man, I do like how they have a name, identity. It's separate from the bloodline, and I like it, man. I like it.
Same. Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu defeated Solo and JC Nerd in the main event, as Fatu gets about as clean as pin as you can ever see on the new U.S. champion, Solo. Nice. Nice fucking going.
Let's just fucking pin the new champ next night. Fuck him. Or just first Friday. Fuck him.
Yeah. 6 days after he won the championship. Clean, about as clean as a whistle. And afterwards, the family tree attacks. They attack Fatu and Jimmy to end the show. And that was SmackDown. Like I said, this was a tape show, and it definitely felt like one.
No way was that a tape show, man. Again, really my biggest thing coming out of SmackDown. Why the fuck would you return Drew McIntyre to a tape show? What was the point of that? I don't know.
You know, I'm glad you bring that back up. Remember when Drew McIntyre was creatively disgruntled in WWE? Like a couple of years ago, I think it was like maybe 2023 or like early 2023, late 2022. I wonder if he feels that same kind of way now, because what the fuck have they done with the guy who had a fucking career year in 2024? I mean, what the fuck have they done with the guy who arguably had match of the fucking year last year with CM Punk?
Yeah. Many people had that. If not in their top 3, it was the winner for a lot of people, dude. It was. I think it was my second.
I think it was my
Great
first.
match. Exactly. Like, returned on a tape show, and he's just randomly just facing Randy Orton for no reason.
Yeah, and
Good
they slot him into the most random shit. It's like, dude, what are we doing with it? Why am I even asking this question again? But what are we doing with Drew McIntyre? All we heard in 2024, early 2025, he's going to be a main focus. They want to have him be the one to dethrone Cody. They want to push him huge. He's going to, he's going to be a world champion in 2025. They want him to be one of the upper level main event draws, the same way people look at a Roman Reigns or a Seth Rollins. And he returns on a tape show for a fucking Saturday night's main event match against Randy Orton. What is that creative for this man, dude? I mean, what in the world, bro? Why are we having this discussion again? Did he not prove to you last year that he was fucking worthy of that spot. I mean, what more does the guy
Mm.
have to do?
I mean, we always have to say the same thing about how many other people. LA Knight, Chad Gable, this person, that person. How many times do these people have to prove to you that you should use them in a top spot and not use the same fucking 4 people that you always use? I don't get it.
Fuck, man. I don't understand, dude. Again, why? Why must we have this conversation with Drew McIntyre again? And it's the middle of 2025, the year he was supposed to be a huge draw, huge focus in. Come on, man.
Balor, it's his year too, man. Won the tag titles again. What a big career year for the guy.
Yeah. Gonna be a huge career year for Blair Davenport as well. Wonderful. So, that was SmackDown. I always hate, man, when they fucking return or debut people on these return shows. I remember when they did this with the War Raiders. Like, dude, you hype these up through vignettes for weeks, and you can't even do them the due diligence of bringing them back on a live episode where you can actually hear a live crowd reaction. Let's trot Drew out here like he hasn't been gone since... Wasn't it the Saturday night's main event at the end of May? He was out the whole month of June.
Yeah, out the whole month, and just returned on a fucking tape show
And we
to do nothing.
bring him back like nothing happened. All right. Monday Night Raw. Well, guys, we're at Raw. So, you can tune back in. The show
Yeah,
opens up
exactly.
from Providence, Rhode Island. And it opens up with the group. Or it opens up with the company.
Company.
Or the coup. So the show opens up with the Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed group as they all come down to the ring. Rollins puts his hand out to grab the microphone from Paul Heyman, and Braun Breaker snatches the mic out of Heyman's hand. This was interesting because this is something that it doesn't necessarily look like Rollins had a problem with it. He more so just looked confused as to... It just seemed like it caught him off guard. Yeah. He didn't seem like mad or anything. However, this is something I can clearly tell is going to turn into something that is going to, over time, get Rollins angry. Because, Breaker, which I thought, was interesting that they're already kind of starting that now, which, again, obviously, you wake up and you see all the dirt sheets saying, you see the dirt sheets saying, they eventually want to have Breaker, turn on Rollins. To them, I say no shit, but,
it's the most obvious. It's literally, again, just dirt sheets watching television
yeah.
and then just saying they know something when they fucking don't. But it's very interesting to me, especially, they got these cogs starting to turn already, and they still haven't given this group a name. Especially, WWE, they love have things having a name that they could sell. You know what I mean? So the fact that this group still hasn't had a name just makes me think it's not gonna last as long as we might think it is.
That is very interesting. That is very interesting to think because, again, how could one not think that at this point? Because, like you said, they're already, starting to throw hints of upcoming dissension. Like I said, not really yet, but they're already throwing hints of upcoming dissension. And it's just really weird, mixed with the fact that the group still doesn't have a name and all those other kind of things. So I could definitely see why it would maybe make one believe the group may not last as long as we think, which to me is very interesting because this was like a huge fucking angle coming out of WrestleMania. Maybe WWE's not feeling it. Maybe they're feeling that it just doesn't work with Heyman and Rollins, which obviously you could say that, but I mean, I was maybe going to give it a little more time because, again, my mind always goes back to, you know, remember when everybody was like, oh, Solo's bloodline sucks or Solo sucks in this role, and he ended up growing into it, or like Judgment Day at first, you know what I mean? Everybody was like, what is this? Well, they're adding Dominic to the group? That's fucking stupid. But then obviously look at what it turned into. So typically I don't know, personally I like to give things a little bit more time. Obviously you can tell it's a growing period where, maybe we're trying to get used to Rollins and Heyman together, but I don't know, maybe people at top brass feel that it just doesn't work between the two. Which maybe it doesn't. Again, I was going to give it a little bit more time, but maybe they had already made up their mind on the situation. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was very interesting for sure.
It is very interesting.
So Breaker says he's standing here today because Seth and Paul Heyman have a vision that has him as the face of the company for the next 2 decades. Heyman and Seth are standing there talking to each other the whole time, asking them, look like they ask themselves, what the fuck is he doing? He says he has a vision. He says he has his own vision for WWE, and that's without Sami Zayn. He says he doesn't like his face. He doesn't like his beard. He doesn't like his music. He doesn't like that the people sing his music. He then starts like tweaking out and has like a voice crack that the crowd was laughing at. He's like, ah! and everybody like everybody's just laughing, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, dude is absolutely tweaking, bro. So
He was, bro.
So he says he doesn't understand how the people cheer for someone with no athletic ability, somebody who's never played sports or goes to the gym. So you're asking wrestling fans why don't they cheer for themselves, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious why wrestling fans cheer for that.
Yeah. They have not done any of those 3 things.
You don't
So
do any of those fucking things, man.
He says Sami is trying to hang on to anything for 5 more years to squeeze any last bit of water out of the rag. I've been asking the same question about Sir K, but he says Sami has an expiration date, and he is going to put the stamp on it. Rollins then finally urges Paul Heyman to get the courage to walk up to Braun Breaker and ask for the mic back. Heyman walks up to Braun, and Braun gives him the mic back. Rollins then says, "You good, Breaker?" Bronson Reed then asks for the mic, so Rollins hands it to him. Reed says Braun is a tough act to follow, but so am I. He says he is the man that hit Seth with 6 tsunamis, building a respect between them so much that he brought me into his vision. So that I can get the respect I deserve. He says Jay does not respect me, so tonight I will tsunami it into him. It's then Paul Heyman's turn to talk as he says, tonight, the Empire strikes back. He says, actually, tonight, the Empire strikes first. Here we have another name we could possibly use for this group. Shall they ever give them a name? We have the Empire, the Vision, the Vanguard, I think, is another one they kind of... Or is that just the name Heyman refers to himself as Seth Rollins' Vanguard? What were you going to say, though?
Actually, if Heyman's personal nickname, I guess now is the Oracle. I guess that
You're
the
right.
commentary even
The Oracle.
That's his fucking nickname now, so he's the Oracle. But both Braun and Bronson both basically refer to the group as the Vision. So you just call him the fucking Vision at this fucking point.
I think
just slap a name.
To me, when they said the Empire,
well,
when they said the Empire, to me, I was like, I felt maybe that was WWE's cheap way of like shoehorning a nickname in there to give them another name to call them in case they didn't want to call them the Vision for whatever reason, even though I think that one makes the most sense.
Well, the Empire line, that whole little thing that Heyman did, that was just like it's a reference to what happened throughout the night of the bad guys winning. Empire Strikes Back is the name of that one Star Wars movie, and in that movie, the bad guys win. And that was basically just saying that like it was heroes and villains, and literally that whole line of the Empire strikes first, strikes back, all that. That was literally just a teaser for that. The bad guys, i.e., Seth's group, were overall going to win tonight. Is which was happened. So that was the point of that line, really.
Well, I'm definitely a bigger Star Wars guy than Sir K, so I'm surprised I didn't pick up on that. But I appreciate Sir K for but I appreciate Sir K for filling us in there. That makes a lot more sense now. So, again, I had an off night, and sometimes Michael Jordan even had off nights. But normally I'm on my Star Wars P's and Q's. But thankfully Sir K filled us in there. But so he says, yeah. So at that point, just please. So at that point, please just call them the Vision, bro. I mean, I don't understand what we're waiting for here. So he says tonight the Empire actually strikes first. He says first on the list is Sami Zayn. I'm surprised he has not ran all the way back to Montreal yet. He says tonight Bronson Reed takes on Jey Uso. Paul says he has love for his former Bloodline member Jey. But let's be honest. Roman Reigns, I don't know where that came from. He says, let's be honest, Roman Reigns does not have the balls to come back and step up against us.
That line was very shoehorned.
Where the hell did that even come from? I mean, I know we're talking about I know you mentioned Bloodline, but you were talking about Jey. Where the fuck did Roman come from? Which gave me the thought, are they going to have Roman come back and be a part of Saturday night's main event to give somebody something to hang their hat on in terms of All In? Because I could very well see them doing that to shoehorn, because it looks like where was CM Punk tonight? Which makes me think, are they going to do Roman, Punk, and Seth in the main event of SummerSlam as well as Cena and Cody? Because unless they do some sort of tag match where it's like Roman, Punk, and Jey versus Rollins, Breaker, and which, I mean, what the fuck is that for SummerSlam? I mean, that's your fucking SummerSlam match for I mean maybe they do some sort of like Nexus versus WWE type of thing where they do like a big elimination match and it's like Rollins, Reed and Breaker versus Punk, Roman, and Jay. I mean, again, I don't know what the fuck that is, but like, I I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I don't know at this
I don't
point, but
know.
it was very very shoehorned in there for them to just randomly bring up Roman Reigns while they were talking about a Bronson Reed and Jay Uso match.
So fucking random.
He says the OTC is MIA and Jay will be MIA too, all thanks to the master of the tsunami. He says tonight, Seth freaking Rollins will don the tights against Penta. Who's he, Batman? He's gonna don the cowl once again. He says he will get stomped so far into the mat that Penta will not be able to do stupid hand signals ever again. That is not a prediction, that is a spoiler. Seth grabs the mic finally. He says, well, boys, I think you covered everything. So, Providence, welcome to Monday Night Rollins. That was the open to the show, as this group, the Vision, or the Oracle, the Vanguard, the Empire, this seemed to be a very heavy show on their behalf.
Exactly. Right before Evolution.
Yeah, you would think they would want to, lead with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, because they had a huge part in tonight's show. We'll get to that in a minute. They had a massive presence on tonight's show. They led with this, so
Lord.
man, what are you what the promo itself? I mean, it was just, again, to me, it seemed like they, like, by the time this promo was all said and done, because like while the promo was happening, I'm just like, are they just running? I'm like thinking like, okay, they're just running down what they're gonna do for the night. And then when Paul Heyman spoke, it kind of summed everything up. This promo was designed to tease Roman Reigns.
Yep. That's literally all because after, the whole plan they had tonight of take everybody out, they took Jay out, they took Penta out, they took Sammy out, and at not the pay-per-view, but at Saturday night's main event, they're gonna take LA Knight out. Who's left?
Yeah.
Randy Orton, what the fuck? Roman Reigns, fucking A. Fucking Excalibur flow. Um, but like it's obvious what they're setting up, man. It's very obvious.
Indeed it is. So, we then get Michael Cole joined by Corey Graves again for the 5th week in a row. No Pat McAfee.
Hmm.
Again. Interesting, man.
Well,
Pat is Pat must be burnt out of the product. He must be.
he must be, and I don't fucking blame him.
Yes, it was a very boring WrestleMania build, and it was a very boring it's been a very boring summer.
It has been.
And it was pretty boring in the lead up to WrestleMania, minus the Cena and Cody build. So, we then get a Judgment Day backstage, which tonight's show, when I tell you hardly had a Judgment Day presence, I mean, I was shocked. I mean, dude, I was, I was almost at the end of the show, and I said to myself, I'm like, where the fuck is the Judgment Day? They are usually on like 12 out of 16 segments on the fucking show. And they were like, all their shit was in like the first 45 minutes of the show. I was shocked.
And it's also like, do you have the Judgment Day basically, except, the big one, they basically have all the gold on Raw. And now, finally, after basically having all the gold, they're barely on television. What what is the game plan, Triple H? When they're like in their funk state where they're all losers, they're half of the episode of Raw, and now that they fucking win everything, they're not even on the show, like barely. I what is the game plan here, dude?
Uh,
What is the point of this?
uh, that That's a wonderful question. That is a that is a wonderful question. Um, so Raquel walks into the clubhouse, and she is angry because Roxanne made Dominic a Liv Morgan memorial. Raquel says, "Why would you make that? Liv is alive, and she's going to be back real soon. She's rehabbing every day." Finn says, "I don't know about that. When I hurt my shoulder, I was out for 8 months."
Did we not do this exact same conversation last week? Why did they do the exact same the literal to a T, the exact same conversation they had last week? Do both parties not already know this information about each other? Okay.
Raquel tells Rox she better take care of Kyrie tonight. And Roxanne walks away. JD says, he says to Finn, "Hey, we should go ask Pierce who our next challengers are going to be." JD, I hope they burn your titles. I genuinely hope you guys never have another fucking challenger ever again. That's what Adam Pierce should have told you about your tag team titles.
Yeah, JD. I think you take a guess with the three people, the three
Fuck.
tag teams it's going to possibly be.
Yeah, it's slim pickings. It's not like there's a wide variety here. Um, Dominic then says, hey guys, thanks for the get well soon cake." JD and Finn at the same time look at each other and say, "Was that you?" I say, "No, it wasn't us." "Well, Dom, if you would have just looked at the fucking cake, it says get well soon from AJ. I
Why did he have to take the clear
yeah.
plastic cover off to read that part?
I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, it says in huge letters from AJ, and I'm like, did he have to take the lid off to fucking see the from AJ part? I'm like, all right. So
Things I've ever seen. Fucking is a clear cover. He reads it, doesn't read it all the way, takes the clear cover off, and then reads the rest.
yeah, and then he's like, wait, from AJ? Like, yeah, like, what, did you not see that? Well, Dominic turns around and AJ Styles, bro. I don't know if this man's on like I don't know if this man's on like a meme journey, but he's fucking peeking around one of the production crates in the clubhouse like Randy Orton. I don't know if you guys remember when Randy Orton used to be spying on Jeff Hardy back in the day, when he used to be peeking around the corner just fucking looking at him. AJ Styles is peeking around the corner and he does the, "I'm watching you" to Dominic, and then Dominic turns around, pulls out his doctor's note, and he turns back around and AJ's gone. Like he's fucking Michael Myers or something. And yeah, AJ was AJ was AJ AJ dipped and Dominic was running around trying to look for him. But yeah, that was that segment. As yeah, I mean, minus the get well soon cake, it was pretty much the same thing from last week.
Literally, quite literally, in terms of what they said, verbatim from last week. And then they had the fucking most hilarious shit ever, man. AJ, the man's on a streak. He's having a blast. He's happy he's not going to All In.
I don't know, man. He was supposed to help the Young Bucks beat Will Ospreay and Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. Golly. Um so so let's see. Next we got Kairi Sane versus Roxanne Perez. Kairi goes to hit the insane elbow on Roxanne. Raquel pulls her out of the ring. Kyrie then jumps on Raquel. Roxanne capitalizes, gets Kyrie in the ring, goes to hit her with pop rocks, and gets countered into a backslide roll-up, which won Roxanne, or which won Kyrie Sane the match. So much for taking care of Kyrie for Roxanne Perez, as she's in the Judgment Day and she's losing to Kyrie Sane on Monday Night Raw. Well, they the Judgment Day, or Raquel and Roxanne, attack. They attack her after the match. And Asuka comes out for the save and takes care of Raquel and Roxanne to help Kyrie fend off Judgment Day. We will get back to them in a second, but yeah, rather random. I thought Damage Control was done, but I guess this is what we have to do when we have no other fucking creative ideas.
Last week they literally ran a little fucking Cardi Sane vignette, basically about how she's so low, and then they do this week. Good lord, dude. Good lord. Great direction, man.
Sami Zayn is backstage. Jackie asks him how he's managing everything going on around him. He says he wishes he can focus on his injured ribs and Karrion Kross. He says he's probably lurking around here, watching somewhere, but he has to pay attention to Braun Breaker with how dangerous he is. He will deal with Kross later. He walks off. Scarlett walks up, and she's got a smile on her face. Jackie Redmond asks her, do you have something to say? What is this about? Scarlett then gets all serious and just says no, as she watches Sami Zayn, I don't know, walk off into the distance. So, this obviously had something to do with what happened later in the show. So, this segment was fine, and you could definitely it definitely played later into the show. We'll get to that in just a couple matches here later, but yeah, so that was that. Like I said, we will get back to that in just a second, as it did play later into the show. Going back to the whole Asuka thing, American Made is in the back. They're asking Adam Pearce how El Grande Americano is in a match. Brutus then says that's impossible. How can El Grande Americano wrestle? Chad's hurt. Julius then smacks him on the back of the head, like, shut up. Adam Pearce then says, oh, okay, well, why would Chad Gable's injury have anything to do with El Grande Americano? Brutus then realizes what he says, and he's just kind of like, He then looks at Ivy and he says, I know that's not why you're in here anyway, so what do you want? She says she's in here because she wants in the Battle Royal at Evolution. Adam Pearce says, okay, you're in. She's like, oh, really? Okay. And he tells them, have a nice Monday, and they walk off. So
yeah, and Pierce might as well tell her, yeah, we don't care about Evolution, so yeah,
you're
just
in.
give anybody what they want. So you're in the match. Who cares?
Yeah. Everybody's got the pass. You're in. Everybody's in the fucking Battle Royal. Quite literally. We'll get to that later too. Actually, we'll get to that next. So Asuka and Kairi Sane walk up in one of the cringiest fucking segments I've probably seen all fucking year. They walk up and they tell Adam Pearce they want to take down the Judgment Day. Adam Pearce tells them, you guys are going to represent Raw at Evolution in the 4-way tag match. and we're gonna reunite the Kabuki Warriors. I shit you not. They all start fucking dancing, and Asuka just starts yelling over and over, Kabuki Warriors. And they fucking start dancing, including Adam Pearce.
They brought back Asuka, being legit and serious. Thought they brought back Kari for the same thing. And now they're back to doing something that they've done before, dude. It's the most laziest shit ever, dude.
And dude, if you're gonna do the Kabuki Warriors again, both of these women have darker looks to them, right? Kyrie, she's not, she's sort of got a darker look about her in this second run, and so does Asuka. She's had a darker look since like early 2023. Why are they still jumping around and dancing and just being all overly animated like they were in the Vince era? I mean, what the fuck is that? It's so horrible.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, they're fucking sitting in the back in Adam Pearce's office dancing. I mean, what the fuck, man? What? How does that makes them look like fucking idiots? I mean, I don't get it. I've never liked the way, Vince liked to make Asuka and Kyrie, all like overly animated, and they always got to dance and jump around and just yell Kabuki Warriors. I mean, what is that, dude? I mean, you would fucking think Triple H, the way he booked Asuka in NXT, you would think he would fucking know better, but apparently not.
You would think, dude. You would fucking think, but gotta do the most generic, safest route possible, dude.
Nikki Bella. Well, she ended up having a role in Evolution after all. She says her altercation with Liv lit a fire inside of her. She wants one last shot to show what she can do. And she wants in the Battle Royal.
Oh man.
Okay. She says she will go through the best this division has to offer. It then shows B-roll shots of a bunch of women that aren't in the Battle Royal. It shows B-roll shots of like Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Naomi, Jade Cargill. Legit. I don't think I've seen one woman that was actually in the Battle Royal. Meanwhile, Nikki's saying she's going to go through the best that the division has to offer in the Battle Royal. And it proceeds to show a bunch of women that are not in the Battle Royal. So, wonderful there.
Indeed.
So, she says she wants the title match at Clash in Paris. And she wants to show her Bella army. You ready for this? This gets really inspirational.
Does it?
Not to fear the challenges in front of you. Not to run from your past. To face it, learn from it, and build a future no one can take away from you. Wow.
Generic ass fucking motivation. What in the past has to do with a battle royal? what, what?
This really inspired me. This speech from Nikki Bella here, man, it really tugged on my heartstrings, man. It made me think next week, Unscripted's not gonna fucking suck.
I like this week.
Yeah. Well, this week's different. Next week, though, it definitely lit a fire under me watching this promo, for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. Just can't let the past or whatever the fuck she was talking about
I don't even know
stop you from
what.
fucking
I don't even know like what she was getting at here. I don't I don't necessarily know what past in WWE she's trying to run from. I
I,
beats me.
I don't know. I genuinely don't fucking know.
She says she made history at the first Evolution, and she will make history again and prove why Nikki Bella is fearless.
Okay.
Uh, um, you know, let's just hope. I'll say, let's just really hope that Stephanie Vaquer wins the wins the championship match, wins the battle royal at Evolution. But Lord, is this going to strike? This putting Nikki Bella in this battle royal actually made me fearful instead of fearless, because now I'm fucking scared that Nikki Bella is going to win this match and face, I don't know, perhaps Io Sky. Maybe she's going to face Tiffany Stratton, if Tiffany or Naomi or Jade Cargill or whoever's the champion of the women's division, whichever women's championship, by Clash in Paris. Yeah, that is exactly what this promo did. Instead of, like I said, instead of making me feel fearless, this made me fearful that Nikki Bella actually may win this fucking match, because this should, without a doubt, go to Stephanie Vaquer, and Stephanie should go on to face Io. Being that Nikki Bella is on this show. Meanwhile, we haven't seen Stephanie in like 3 or 4 weeks on Monday Night Raw. So I don't know what was going on there. I don't know what's going on there. I guess they're just saving her for Evolution. But yeah, Nikki Bella's in the Battle Royal.
Oh, good Lord.
Which I'll say, better than her having a one-on-one match. Again, I am just very scared that she is going to win and go on to Clash in Paris. So Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn. Can somebody please tell Michael Cole to stop calling him Braun Breaker?
It's like, dude, it's Braun. It's a O.
Yeah.
Not a A-U. It's Braun.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker.
Sammy's coming out. He's attacked by Karrion Kross with a lead pipe. Again, for the second week in a row. It's like you took the script from last week, just changed locations.
Dude, it literally from the fucking everything.
What's different about this week, you may ask? Well, we went from Pittsburgh to Rhode Island.
Yep. That's all we did.
That's all we
Both
got.
locations. We're doing the same show.
The crowd starts, as Karrion Kross is getting escorted to the back, which I will say Adam Pearce had a hilarious little, I guess, breakup of this segment. He walks down there, grabs the pipe from Karrion Kross, and just fucking chucks it up the ramp. So they send Kross to the back, and Kross starts getting "We Want Kross" chants, and he's supposed to be the bad guy here. So
Triple H.
We come back
we're
from
the bad guy here. Remember that.
Exactly. We should just shut the fuck up and be a fan. Even though we got a guy here that we want to see be pushed and we want to be vocal about it, but we should just be fans. So where were we? Oh, we come back from commercial. Sammy is telling Adam Pearce he wants to compete, as Michael Cole says, and I quote, Sammy is telling Pearce he wants to compete against Braun Breaker. So Sammy is up against the ropes. He's leaning up against the ropes and he's like hurt. He's holding his ribs. And all of a sudden, we get this great visual as Sammy's sitting there hurt. We hear those air raid sirens start playing in the beginning of Braun Breaker's theme song. That was a pretty cool visual. I like that a lot, and I like I love those I love those sirens in the beginning of his song. It makes for, like I said, it just really makes for a very very badass visual in situations like this.
I really like how they've been doing that. The intro of his song, it really comes in looking really sick in a lot of moments.
Definitely. And Braun hits a run around the ring spear on Sami Zayn. He then gets him in the ring and runs off the ropes about 5 or 6 times before hitting him with another spear to secure the victory and take Sami out. So, that was that, and there was a little bit more of a follow-up on that. We then get the War Raiders backstage telling Adam Pearce they need to be at the top of his list for a tag title rematch. You gotta be fucking kidding me, dude.
Good lord.
Holy fuck.
This shit. That's all they have done since they returned. It's just challenge for the tag team titles. They held them for a little bit, but then they lost them, and then they just tag team title shot up, tag team title shot up, tag team title shot. Good lord.
Every other week, the War Raiders are in a
tag title shot.
Tag title contender match.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The fucking New Day then walk up in funeral attire, mourning the tag division. Me too.
We're mourning for different reasons, but so am I. It's dead.
I've been mourning the tag. This has been a hard healing process for me. I've been mourning this tag division for about 2 fucking years now, ever since the Judgment Day held them the first time. Becky Lynch then walks up, tells the New Day she's so sorry for their loss and mourns the tag division with them. She then tells the New Day she's glad they got rid of Big E. I don't know why that was fucking said. We're probably not gonna see Big E for X amount of fucking months, if ever.
Dude, at this point, Big E is like The Rock. If he's not showing up and he can't, do this, stop bringing him up in the way they're doing it. Just stop.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and now you're at a point with the New Day where you're stuck because you can't really have them, turn babyface again, because what do? Just say, oh, sorry, man. Sorry, we, basically told you you're fucking useless and you're a horrible friend. Sorry, man. Let's just move on now. I mean, what the hell, dude? Good lord. I don't know why they would do that if they did not know for sure that Big E was coming back. I don't understand.
I really don't know that. Exactly.
You might as well have just kept them as stale baby faces at that point. So, Becky makes her way to the ring for a promo. This was probably the best part of the show, in my opinion.
1,000%.
100,000%. This was the best part of the show.
And
Becky
actually set up the pay-per-view that's about to happen.
Yeah. So Becky says, she goes out to the ring. She says she understands why the company needs her at Evolution, but she asks why she asks how 2 losers who lost against each other both have a title shot against her. She says she gets why, she says she gets they need her because she's a best-selling author, and she's a huge draw for the company, but she beat both Lyra and Bayley both. And she deserves to pick her own opponent the same way Tiffany and Io got to pick theirs. She says she thinks she says she thinks Bayley and why doesn't every champion get to fucking choose their opponent at that? She says she conspirizes that Bayley and Lyra are in cahoots, and this is all a ruse by them because they know the only way they can beat her is if they do it together. Bayley then comes out. Soon as she puts the mic to her mouth, Lyra walks out there, brushes right past Bayley. She gives her the old shoulder check, jumps in the ring, and she asks Becky what she is talking about. She calls Becky a lunatic before Bayley walks in the ring and says that she would be champion right now if it was not for Lyra. She tells Lyra to, Lyra then says, "Oh my God, you're talking to me." Bayley then tells Lyra to let the fact that she hasn't to let the fact that she has not talked to her coming out of WrestleMania go. She says she does not need any more partners or any more friends. All she needs is that IC championship. Becky says after 13 years and grimy hugs, another one of your friendships bites the dust. Lyra reveals, she says, everybody thinks that I called Becky for WrestleMania, but let me tell you, Becky called me after secretly taking you out before WrestleMania. Becky then tries instigating some more between Lyra and Bayley. Lyra then cuts her off, tells Becky, "You cannot get in my head any more than you already have." She says, the fact that Bayley does not care about friendships makes her just like Becky. She says she has to rescue the IC championship from two massive disappointments. Bayley then tells Lyra that she then tells her she stood by her side through all her accolades and everything that she's accomplished. She says she sat front row when you won the women's IC championship. And then I watched you lose to Becky and raise her hand like a little bitch. Lyra then is pissed. At this point, she goes to deck Bayley in the face. Bayley moves and she decks Becky right in the face. And a huge brawl breaks out with Lyra Valkyria standing tall here, which I think we all know what this means. Lyra is not winning. I actually would not be too shocked if Bayley won this match. I would not
Bayley might be the winner too.
I could very well see Bayley winning the match by pinning Lyra. But I will say, Becky has exceeded all expectations with the IC championship. Everybody was talking about Becky Hogan this, Becky Hogan that. Thankfully, for the most part, I feel like she silenced a lot of those people with the word. This has actually, out of everything on WWE TV this summer, this fucking feud has been my favorite. And I'm so glad we've seen Becky help Lyra come out of her shell. I've really loved what this has done for Lyra. It has humanized her a lot more. Bayley, who had just overall a very defeating WrestleMania season, with obviously her not being on the show and all that stuff, and all the controversy around, just WWE not using Bayley and just doing Bayley dirty. This is some of the best stuff Bayley has done in a fucking really long time, man. A really, really, really long time. Probably since the role model or the Boston Hug Connection stuff with, oh God. Probably the best stuff since all that stuff earlier. What was that at this point? 5 years ago with Sasha Banks? This is probably the best stuff she's done since then. And like I said, Becky, I mean, again, Becky's just Becky, man. She has really upped the game for Lyra. She's upped the game for Bayley, and she's really upped the game for that women's IC championship. I respect it, and I fucking love this feud. I love this segment, and I love the work these three women have been doing. You said it, and I'll repeat it. This should be the main event of Evolution, 100%. I
It
know it won't be, but it fucking should be.
It really should be. This is what fans are most enjoying about Evolution and its build. This is what most fans are enjoying most about Raw in general lately. You and me included, dude. I mean, this stuff has been great. The three of them, their dynamic is fucking great. Becky's been phenomenal in her like instigating role. It's been it's been amazing, dude. It's been amazing. I love the segment they did tonight. I love again just the dynamic and just chemistry that those three have. Um, been really fucking amazing, dude, and I'm very excited for this match. And it should main event Evolution. It's not, but it should, man. It is. It's been the best week for week, the best thing you've been doing since Mania, man. So, really should. But love what they've been doing. Love this segment.
And you know, when all this controversy happened with Bayley, one of the things that I said, I can't remember if I said it on the podcast or if I said it to you in private, but you know, when everybody was like, "Oh, is Bayley gonna leave?" One of my main things I said was, you know, I really feel because I know Triple H really does love Bayley. I know he does. I know she's one of his favorites. I said then, and I'll say it again, partially because I can't remember if I said it on the show or not, but I really thought that when all this happened, this would really open Triple H's eyes and really and he would start using Bayley in a story heavy manner. You know what I mean? But because he did the same thing with Drew McIntyre. If he really likes you and obviously you show a little bit of frustration there, he really will up the game if he wants to for you. Like I said, look at what he did with Drew. The only problem with Drew, and the only problem I'll say is, I just hope it continues with Bayley. I hope it
I
continues
hope
and they
so.
continue to, you know, kind of meet that request. And I hope they continue to really have her do great stuff because he did it with Drew for a very long time. He obviously listened to his request for a very long time. Now we're in this sort of weird limbo period, man, where it just, you know, Drew just kind of feels just off again. And I just really hope it keeps up with Bayley. He continues to have her character develop. He continues to have her be an actual character on the show because that is what Triple H, you know, does best with. You know what I mean? He does best with these sort of deep characters, man. And obviously you can get your people on TV where, you know, he'll put you on TV because he thinks you're a good wrestler, and you can have good matches, but Triple H really dives into characters very well. Like you look at like Penta, or you look at like Ray Phoenix, or you look at like Andrade, or you look at like people that he puts on TV because he likes them as wrestlers. They don't really have much momentum. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, they're all great, but they don't really have much momentum. But when Triple H can really book somebody who can create, you know, interesting stories and interesting dialogue and really develop their character in that manner, like a Drew McIntyre, or in this case, like a Becky Lynch, he can really sink his teeth. He can really sink his teeth into that and really do a memorable run. But hopefully it keeps up with Bayley. So
Really hope so.
yeah, this stuff's been great. This stuff has been great, man. It's always the most random shit on TV in the summer of WWE, man, that ends up being well, last year was Punk and McIntyre, but the year before that, at 2023, it was Alpha Academy was the best part about Monday Night Raw. And in the beginning of the year, if you would have told me Lyra, Bayley, and Becky would be the best part about Monday Night Raw, I would have said, yeah, right. Triple H doesn't, he's not really doing anything with Lyra, or he's not really doing anything with Bayley. Um, Obviously, Becky wasn't around, but they're knocking it out of the park, man. Again, this is legit been the best part of the summer of WWE, man. It's been great.
It really has been.
So Braun Breaker, he's in the back with Seth Rollins, and he's disappointed. He says he's disappointed in the fact that Cross beat Sammy or Cross weakened Sami Zayn for him. And people might think that he can't beat Sammy at 100%. Seth reassures the man, saying, "Don't worry about Cross. Nobody likes him."
Or Triple H. I mean, Seth.
Yeah, I think we know who wrote
Sorry.
that line in there. He says Sammy was the target tonight. Heyman then walks up. He says, "Did you guys hear the news? Sammy is out indefinitely." They all start laughing and joking. Braun's sitting there saying, "Sami Zayn, Sammy Zayn." And Seth then tells Reed, "What are you laughing about? Jey Uso is in perfect health." Bronson then says he won't be after I get done with him. We then immediately go into Bronson Reed and Jey Uso's match, where these guys are wrestling. The match was rather short. Jey Uso is out there in a pair of basketball shorts as if as if he forgot to pack his gear and had to run to Dick's Sporting Goods to get some gear for the show. So he looked on the shelf. Oh shit! Here's some basketball shorts. Here's some McDavid knee pads. And then he went to Foot Locker and just grabbed a pair of ones, and that was what he went out there with.
Literally, man. I don't know if he forgot his gear, and maybe that's why the match was so short. But very interesting, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know what that was about, but yeah. So Jay gets Bronson Reed in an announcer's chair. He super kicks him, and Bronson sits in the chair. He super kicks him again, and Bronson falls backwards in the chair. He gets in the ring, goes to do a suicide dive, and Bronson throws the announce chair right at his face. He throws it right at his face, and the match ends in DQ. Bronson then hits 2 tsunamis before getting ejected by management. I don't know why Bronson couldn't have just picked up the victory here, but we have to protect Jey Uso.
Can't lose. Yeah, exactly, man. Jay can't lose, man. But they accomplished their goal of hurting him, I guess. So there you go, man. There you go.
So we then get a promo package from LA Knight. He tells Seth he's in debt with something that doesn't belong to him. He says he took 3 tsunamis and was back a week later. He says he can't take the briefcase from him, and he's not going to try to. He says Seth can be the one who holds the briefcase, but he will know whose game this is. Sir K, was it just me, or did you absolutely see no fucking point to this promo whatsoever?
Literally was the most pointless. Like, yeah, you're Mr. Money in the Bank. I can't fucking do anything about it, but we're gonna fix each other right Saturday.
I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, he's like, you got the briefcase, and I'm not, and I can't take it from you, and I'm not gonna try to. So why the fuck would you mention him holding the briefcase? When you just said it doesn't belong to him, so obviously, I'm sure you're implying it belongs to you, but then you go on to say you're not gonna try to take it from him? Like, who the fuck read that or watched that and was like, what he said made so much sense? Like, who did
Exactly.
that?
Just, hey, that doesn't belong to you. I can't take that fucking from you, but it doesn't fucking belong to you, man.
Like,
Um,
huh?
just made him look like an ass, dude. Good old Triple H.
We then get a Rhea Ripley video package. Speaking of making no sense, they run a video package of Rhea and Io's history where Rhea says that Io has always had her number and she's gonna turn her doubt into fire. And it just proceeds to just show all their face-offs and just a bunch of videos of Rhea getting mad after losing to Io.
It was literally, and that's all they get. The main event of Evolution just got that. A little promo package where it just shows Rhea losing, being mad, and then that's all they get. Good lord.
I, main event. Main event of Evolution. And they are both not physically present for the show. They are on a fucking video package. That is wonderful. Wonderful work here. Again, just wait to show your audience that you just can give a fucking rat's ass about Evolution. The main event of Evolution, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, nowhere to be seen on the main event or on the Monday Night Raw Go Home show to Evolution. Nowhere to be seen. So the night before the night before WrestleMania, let's just not have either guy on the main or the Go Home show to WrestleMania. Let's just not have either guy up here on the show. That's a great way to build hype for the show this weekend. Wonderful.
Wonderful, man.
El Grande Americano versus Dragon Lee. I'll say two things. Dragon Lee was a great opponent to put in the ring for Ludwig, and it was kind of entertaining watching Ludwig work a lucha style or working he's fucking doing Hurricane Ranas and he's landing all these somersault flips and it was, I will say, man, for as fucking odd as this is for him, it's definitely a style I never thought I would see him work, and it is quite entertaining. I'll say that.
Exactly. It was entertaining. It was good seeing Dragon Lee. It
Yeah.
was funny hearing Ludwig in the fucking lucha mask. Speaking, what does he speak? German?
Yeah.
He wasn't speaking Spanish. He was speaking German in the fucking mask. So that was fucking funny. Um, Commentary was fucking like they literally at one point Cole goes, he's not even speaking Spanish. So that was funny, man. But it was fun, I guess. I wonder what they're gonna really do with this, but time will tell with that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So he defeats Dragon Lee by putting the metal plate in his mask and hitting him with a running headbutt for the victory. We then get a vignette for Stephanie Vaquer building up hype for the Battle Royal this Sunday. We got Gunther. Good God. He comes out here for a promo. Hopefully this is the last time we have to see Goldberg on Raw, ever. He says he's been verbally abusing... yeah, oh God. Didn't he sign an NIL deal?
He did.
Oh, brother.
He did. But he said wrestling was just his backup. So great fucking way to gas up a future possible career as your backup.
Well, like father, like son, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So he says he has been verbally abusing Bill Goldberg for weeks. He says Goldberg has done nothing about it, which leads me to believe he is afraid of me. He's afraid of me and he's afraid of the pressure. Goldberg then rolls up in a old muscle car that he can fucking he's trying to drift and he can barely keep control of it. He's like holding onto the wheel with all of his fucking life. You could see him like struggling. So he comes out there, he gets in Gunther's face, and he says, "Why wait? Let's do this now." Gunther drops the mic. Goldberg tells him to throw one punch. Gunther throws a punch. Goldberg punches him, goes for a spear, and Gunther rolls out before he can hit the spear, and Goldberg starts yelling 5 days as he is sweating his ass off already. Like, legit, look like he just went through a whole 2-hour workout sweating.
Bro fucking drove in, walked up, threw a punch, and was fucking gassed, bruh. Good lord. Why did they give this man one final match? I don't get it.
It beats me, bro. It really beats me. So, this brings us to our main event.
Mm-hmm.
Seth Rollins versus Penta. Penta has completely cooled off, bro. I cannot lie. Completely.
I like how they still keep him around,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the upper mid card to main event scene. That I do like,
Yeah.
but they need to fucking let the dude win something, dude. Have him win something
A lot of the
for the
time,
love of God.
a lot of the time, it just seems like he's put in these matches because they know he's a good wrestler, but they just kind of like to
Mm-hmm.
have him lose. It just, uh, I don't know. It seems like it, you know, Penta's singles run. It could have been so much greater, man. But it really just seems like they're kind of just having him coast along until we get to Rey Fenix and him.
Which is interesting because you look at SmackDown and you see the little tag team from like Ray and Andrade they got going on,
Mm-hmm.
and I really fuck with that.
Yeah.
I've really been fucking with those two as a tag team, and I think it's the perfect opportunity to continue Penta as a single since
Yep.
Ray and Andrade kind of got this own momentum together. Just you gotta get this man some wins, dude. You
Yeah.
gotta get Penta some wins.
They
Like,
do.
hey, have, I don't know if AJ is gonna beat Dom for the IC title, but if he doesn't, Penta, it's got to be Penta for Penta's sake.
Yeah, for sure. They absolutely have to get him some wins, man. I mean, it is just, it's already kind of getting there, man, but I just really don't want it to get to a point where this dude is like Mark Briscoe levels of just known loser. You know what I mean? I don't want it to get to that because his singles run, I mean, you can see the potential in it, and there's so much more to it. There's so much more to
Oh
it,
yeah.
in my opinion, man. But you asked for Penta to get some wins, and WWE denied you as of last night
Oh,
because he goes for the Penta driver on Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins like jumps up and hits Penta. Well, right in the dick. Right, he low blows him. He low blows him while he was in the setting up the Penta driver, and Seth is trying to act like he doesn't know what happened. The referee checks on Penta. Rollins grins. So obviously he knew exactly what he was doing. He then stomps Penta and gets the victory.
who would have guessed, man? They beat Penta.
Yeah.
Obvious win for Seth. And like I said, dude, just please get Penta some wins eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It needs to happen sooner rather than later too. Braun and Bronson come out to, I guess, finish the attack on Pentagon. And as they're walking to the ring, LA Knight runs into the ring and gives Rollins a BFT and then runs off into the crowd. as Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed were chasing him. Braun was running so fast, when he hit the barricade, he fucking fell over the barricade, and like his feet were, like he was literally doing a handstand trying to keep himself up, and Bronson had to pull him back down.
And hilarious, man. LA Knight got the one up. Wonder who's gonna win their match at Saturday night's main event.
I
I
wonder.
know they're gonna beat LA Knight. They're gonna go to beat him up. Punk might come out. They'll beat him up, and then Roman's gonna come out.
Yep, and that will be the counter program to All In Texas.
35th Roman Reigns return. Not like we're gonna probably get one for Royal Rumble 2 or something.
Probably. Well, we'll get one after Street Fighter. So there you have it.
Exactly.
So yeah, and that was and that is exactly what's going to happen, and that is going to be your counter program to All In. So that was everything. That was everything, man. That was Dynamite 300. That was your 4th of July SmackDown, and that was your July 7th edition of Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys so very much for joining us here on Unscripted. Thank you to everybody in the live chat who joined us, and thank you to everybody a part of the Replay Mafia. Thank you guys so very much. And with that, again, we will be live this weekend for Evolution and for All In after those shows go off the air, man. So with that, yeah, that is pretty much everything, man. So with that, it has been always a pleasure for my Johnny.
Sir K.
And that is going to do it for this edition of Unscripted. This has been episode 255. Thank you guys so very much for joining us here today on this edition of Unscripted. And with that, please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you all on Friday at 3 p.m. Central with the news, Evolution, Saturday night's main event, and All In Texas predictions.